I swear I'm totally professional, and we're live now. Hi, welcome to the third night of Vampire the Requiem, and yes, we're down one vampire tonight, but I think that it's going to be a nice chill evening. Uh, I've got my I've got my wine here. Oh, I don't drink wine. I forgot to do the classic line. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let the person actually in charge talk.
Okay, so
I now
oh
know
no.
who's going to be the first to die.
Oh no, something.
Yeah. Welcome back, everybody, to once again the third night. As Andy has stated, Tyler is away doing vastly cool Canadian things for the evening.
Wait a minute. Those are contradictory terms there.
It's a frozen country.
Okay, you got me there.
Okay. So, yeah. When last we left off, our two crones were bringing back a very, very well, I would say port, but something seems a bit different about this than the normal. Mary back to the circle, and our Nosferatu and Deva were sort of doing their own thing for a little while. So I will be picking up with Nick. Um, Carter and his sire go off to discuss something away from the rest of the group, away from the rest of the coven, and that's what they'll be doing for tonight. But yeah, as you bring forward Mary's, for lack of a better term, lifeless corpse to your sire stops for a moment and looks at you and then at Mary and then goes, "Something's wrong."
Yeah, I think I've seen you do this. Enter torpor, or seems like it, but something's off. Um, when we got her out of, for lack of a better term, grave. Um, there in the cemetery, she uttered something at me. She seemed not entirely lucid. And it caught my attention.
What did she say to you?
I believe she said, you can correct me on this, um, the fire of indulgence is coming. I,
Ashley seems to be a. Ashley's eyes go a bit wide as you mention that, and then she goes, "This is not good," and she's not at her full strength. We need to get her back, but this isn't a standard torpor. Just just giving her another vampire's blood isn't going to fully awake her.
Alright. Is there something I should know about what she said?
There's like any like any prophecy, there's multiple ways that it can go. I mean, the fire's indulgence could be a prince's indulgence because he is the fire of the heart of Vampire City, of the vampire side of the city, or it could literally mean the greater spirits of Chicago setting the fire to the city once again. We need her back to her full self to be able to fully interpret.
I Yeah, of course. Uh, how how can we get her back if you say just kindred blood won't do the trick?
There's a rumor in the undercity of Chicago that's held by the second Maxwell of a kindred down there who's potentially very strong. But when I last met him, he wasn't anywhere near as strong as he claimed to be. But he spoke of a ritual which could split the power of a kindred out. That way it could then be reclaimed after Topor. Normally this would be put into a reliquary. Now, he and Mary got along quite well, and it might be something if he can be found and brought back to see if he does have a reliquary of that for her.
It's worth looking into at least.
Yes. Beyond that, was there anything else that was strange about getting her out of the grave?
I'll be frank. I'm not the muscle of the group. The other acolyte Carter, he was instrumental in getting her out. But from what I could see, that was the only thing that caught my attention. I thought it was a simple matter of common torpor.
Did you find the one that Loki had sent you out to?
Yeah, but so did Solomon. He arrived there, and he knew exactly where he was, and we were not about to get into a fisticuffs with him specifically. But he was able to get away with Pope. Pope, well, I imagine so, but Pope seemed to be just in simple torpor. And I think Solomon proclaimed that he was going to crucify him as a traitor.
Yes, Solomon has a very distinct taste for how he does that as well. He doesn't break the prince's laws, as he himself is part of the power that is part of how Maxwell holds praxis, but he does stretch the limitations of how one can interpret it.
Yeah.
That being said, at least in this, we prevent a war with him, and
Yeah.
that would be something given the current time frame of things.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm a little bit worried with regards to what we've been told about Pope and he being under Solomon's whim right now. But I'd rather not go to war with the Lance.
Now, I'll give Solomon this. His anger is high, but he does keep it focused only to those he sees as being worthy of it. He's not the best individual at times when it comes to keeping things on an even kilter, but I doubt that even he would go to war with us over Pope. But that being said, if we had Pope here, he definitely would have.
Yeah. I got that feeling.
Yeah. But yes, you will need to speak with Maxwell of the Undercity in order to carry on towards the greater part of this, because if she has given a prophecy, I need her help in order to interpret it the best way in the images that she saw, because only the words are one half, the visions that come with it are completely the other.
Of course. As soon as we're able.
Good. With that, she offers you refreshment from the ghouls who are setting up for another ritual night, and we'll fade out from there. And Andy or Arshes, what are you two up to currently?
Oh, I imagine I am doing absolutely nothing. I had. I remember after the game, I had sent you that I was going to go back to, whoever I answered to within the Ordo. But once that was done, I'm probably back in my lair playing World of Warcraft.
Scratch sends you a text about 20 minutes after you get into your after 20 minutes you get into your raid, stating, "We need to talk."
Well, if I'm in a raid, my phone was on silent. I am not getting distracted.
You get a message over TeamSpeak. We need to talk.
How the hell did you get in here?
I am everywhere.
Well,
Get your ass down to the university now.
well, fortunately, I don't. Even in game, I'm not a very social person, so I drop out. It was probably a small raid anyway because I don't do big groups ever. And I will go down to the damn university.
So, you let me just grab up Scratch and someone else to go with this, because Scratch is going to be bringing you before somebody, and I forgot to grab a name.
It's fine. I don't want to meet people. I'm very clear about the fact that I don't want to socialize.
All right. Done. He's not meeting before the Sworn of the Axe, but you meet Scratch, who's dressed in a formal suit. And he brings you to into the greater hall. At which point he goes, "Very nice. It's great to see you again, supplicant." So the text that you sent me earlier, Pope was exuding the power of a worm's nest.
I suppose that depends on how you want to define it. I felt the power. It traveled with him. He didn't seem to personally have any power because he got thrown into a trunk and taken away.
Did that power filter through with him? Did it move with him?
Yes, it was moving with him.
Then that would mean that he is the worm's nest. With that, he opens up a door, and there's a very well dressed man reading over a few books at a desk beyond this door. It seems like as if now that you're in the um, university proper, this is apparently one of the um, wings that would be dealing with professors and where they keep their offices. This man has an office directly in there, and it's as he sits there, his desk is made out of a very fine oak, and along each of the walls are books on the occult, several different religious practices, more than a few on chemistry. And he looks up from his reading at Scratch and then at yourselves, and he stands up, bowing his head lightly. And this is the one that you stated was out earlier with his others and came across Pope. He nods and he goes, tell him everything that happened.
And yeah, I'll give him the version that ignores the fact that we were, close to getting into a fight with ghouls of Solomon.
Do you want to give me a deception roll for that?
I'm just omitting things. Is that deception?
That is still deception. That is
Okay,
actually
what exactly do I need to roll? Because I don't.
you need to do you need to do wits plus deception because you're omitting by you're deceiving by omission.
Okay, I only have wits. I don't have deception. So
That would be subterfuge, I believe.
Yes, it is subterfuge.
yeah, I don't have that. So that's just 3. And
All right. That's good. That's good.
now I don't deny that we met with them. I'm just trying to leave out the part where it almost came to violence.
He folds up a pair of glasses on that were sitting on his face and lays them down on the desk. Your deception actually seemed to have gotten through on this, in regards to the lie by omission on the near fight with the ghoul. And he sits there for a moment. He stands there for a moment, contemplating everything just a while longer before he goes. And where is Mary now?
The two, well, they're both Davis, right?
They're
Crone, Circle of the Crone.
They're both Circle of the Crone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Then I just say those two took her somewhere. I don't know. It's magic stuff. That's weird.
It's still something to look further into. Keep helping them with their side. If they have anything else further to deal with Mary, that is something. But keep your eyes and ears out for any information or any rumors concerning Pope, as if Solomon decides to crucify him as we think, then at least that puts the worm's nest in a secure, non-moving location for some time, and that is still something that we can barter with him to get eventually. It may take a bit of having to procure some resources, but I think in turn, information that we can give in regards to certain aspects would be more than worth the paladin's exchange for them. Oh, yay. Yeah, so you actually passed though, so I'm not going to request.
Yeah, that's why I just threw it into chat. I just misread my own abilities. I mean, I assume that any interaction with Solomon's ghouls is automatically considered to be a hostile encounter, so it just didn't feel worth mentioning.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, you met
Uh,
with Solomon Schools? We assumed that there was some hostilities thrown around.
Yeah. Why do I keep getting all of these stupid things? Sorry, I'm just running through all the Circle of the Crown NPCs right now, and they're just going forever and ever and ever. And I actually want to put a name to this guy that you're talking to because he's the head of the Sworn of the Dying Light. Sworn of the Dying Light. So yeah, he looks you over slowly and goes, "Supplicant, we. It's not very often that we get the ability to have the feeling of that in even standard areas. I mean, we've had to exchange quite a few favors with the mages of the city in order to get those worms' nests that we hold directly, but also access to the ones that they hold. Um, but having a living one here within the city does pose not only issues in regards, not only the ability for new studies in that regards, but it does pose issues, especially given the fact that this could be something. A point of power like that can be quite harmful if kept in an area for too long without it being handled um, properly. Not only what effects it can do for us, but there's also in some of the other studies what has been known where these worms' nests have made the distance between the reality that we know and the next quite thin. And if he is a moving point of that, it and isn't sealed properly, then it can cause issues for the rest of the city.
Okay, so it seems to me like the simplest thing to do, and I realize that nothing is ever simple, is just to tell Solomon that he's holding a nuclear bomb and we just need to take the core out of it.
No, if you tell Solomon he's holding a nuclear bomb, he's going to try and activate the nuclear bomb as a way for him to have complete control of the city.
Okay, he's that sort of fanatic.
Yeah, right now he's kept in check by the fact that Maxwell is in charge. But given the chance that he himself could take it directly, he'll state clear as day to everybody to their faces that he doesn't want power. But give him an inch, he'll take a complete mile. Keep Trey. You probably know him as Loki. Keep Trey informed of the potentiality for what can happen because this is something that he won't take up to our dear Norris. He'll bring it directly to Maxwell himself. As much as I like Norris in regards to his abilities for here, I don't trust him fully when it comes to the greater good of the city.
So you just want me to send Loki a quick text?
Yeah, send him a quick text, pretty much telling him exactly what's happened with Pope.
Okay, Pope's a nuclear bomb / worm's nest.
Not a worm's nest. Just pretty much tell him they know them as spirit loci. Tell him
Okay.
that he is.
I just keep adding slashes on every time they give me a new term. Like
completely remove worm's nest from the text.
Okay, he is a spiritual loci nuclear bomb in the hands of a fanatic.
Yes.
Okay.
The acolyte will understand that. He'll go directly to Maxwell. Maxwell won't be able to make any moves directly, but it might bring some things about for us to be able to use in social pressure against Solomon. You've done very well tonight. And Scratch, your continued patronage over this supplicant is much appreciated for not only briefing me, but also bringing him into a formal introduction to myself. And with that, he returns back to his glasses and goes, I trust next month's meeting I will be seeing both of you there on time and without any sort of video game jargon.
I really wish I could remember some acronyms off the top of my head, because I would just be throwing them out.
No, TTFN, GG.
Good game was definitely about to come up.
Yeah. I shall be seeing you both again. Thank you very much for your time. May your nights be as fruitful from now on as they have been this night.
Reviewing the night in my head, I'm pretty sure he just insulted me.
No, actually that's quite a big thing
Oh,
coming from
I
him.
know he thinks it was a good thing. I'm just remembering how much hell I went through for that fruit. Like, it was definitely, that was definitely an insult. I'm thinking to myself.
All right. So, Arshis, what are you up to?
My character's going for a drink. He's just situation previously. He just went, you know what, fuck it, I need a drink, and gone to the golf club for a beer.
Yeah. No. You'll find a few drinks out on the racks. It's a good time for you. So, everybody is now at full blood, at least for narrative purposes for right now.
Yeah.
So, what is everybody's next move?
Full blood, does that mean that I fill up my Vitae bar? Or is that...
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to do two things. First, I want to see if I can, what research I can pull, either from what I might have heard from it, or from members of the Crone that are willing to talk to me about these reliquaries. How rare, how they're created, what's their use, things of that sort.
Alright, can I get a... Let me just look at your sheet real fast.
As long as it's not computer or crafts.
No. It's going to be an intelligence plus occult roll for what you yourself can be able to research. And then it's going to be a manipulation socialize roll plus your status if you have any in the circle of the crone.
All right, so first, intelligence occult. Let's go step by step.
Ooh. Wait, occultation doesn't come into this. I just saw that you had a dot in that. I'm like, oh. And I was like, no, that actually doesn't work on social roles.
Nah, that's like the opposite of social. All right. And the rerolls for the 10s.
That's a lot of successes if I'm reading this right.
69.
Wow, 5 successes. You know that reliquaries of this nature tend to be made directly from the vampire's own vitae. It's not really something that you've come across the crone themselves doing, though. It's hinted at that it's possible for certain rituals to be done like this, but there's nothing in your records that suggest that you know of anyone within the crone directly who's been able to do that.
Right. Do I do the other roll, or was that for the same one?
Do the other roll, because it's going to be
Alright.
quite.
Do a barrel roll.
So it was manipulation and status.
It's manipulation, socialize, and status.
Right, so that would be 2, 3, 4. Ironically, it's the same number of dice.
Still,
Not as good, but
yeah. I mean, if you roll that many dice, you're going to get at least a few good ones.
Hopefully.
You get a single name as you ask around, and yeah, this guy is still awake, but he's down in the depths of the Undercity. And the name that you get is Samson. Percival Sampson. A maquette.
Oh.
A maquette who's not really known to be of any particular covenant, but who did have quite a lot of connections back in the 1930s through the 50s to a lot of secret societies, especially those who consider themselves a new wave ancient Egyptian cult. And I'll be right back because I need to use the loop.
Go.
We do need to figure out some way to, just fill in the time whenever he does this. Like the only other show.
Well, Arches could narrate us a bar fight that Alex gets into.
That is true.
That's probably something that would happen with Alex.
I mean, the only other thing I was thinking of is Critical Role when Sam Riegel does whatever random sponsor bits because they're doing a Secret Whisper, and that's the only other show I know where there could be an awkward pause. So yeah, let's go with the bar fight.
Okay then. Alex had probably had a few drink. I'm not sure what happens when vampires drink booze, but
from what I understand, you've got a matter of time before it all comes back out. You can drink from someone who's been drinking, and then you get drunk. So basically, you need to, depending if it's a vampire club, you can probably just order someone who's been drinking the drink of your choice.
No, oh no, he probably didn't realize this, and has puked over a big burly biker.
Oh no.
I like this version better.
You got
Um,
your mouth on you there, boy.
And then that's when the beer comes back up.
yeah, biker goes swing. Biker gets thrown through a door.
No, they have a tendency of throwing people out windows.
No, I like. He likes to look at the windows. The windows are nice.
And it's a
He's
golf
gonna throw
club,
him
isn't
through
it underground?
Yeah. So
Oh,
he's gonna throw him. He's gonna throw him through the door and into some ascending stairs.
That makes sense.
And go, oi! I may have a pretty face, but I'm not into guys. And just clocks him in the face. Clocks him in the face. Fucking fruit.
Are you honestly trying to fight in the middle of a bar after having vomited on somebody?
Yeah, even Alex should understand that if he's the vomiter, then, that's sort of my bad, bro.
well, he's from across the lake, so there might be like differences in
Oh,
customs.
Yeah.
Such.
Yeah,
It's acceptable to be
more
vomited on there.
No, it's more the fact that Alex knew, like Alex from previous experience. So if he vomits on someone, someone's gonna swing a punch at. He's gonna get swung at. So he's gonna basically try and deck him before he gets decked.
Ah. And I did sort of ruin his fight earlier, so maybe he wants to fight.
Yes. So
Alright.
Alex is slightly wiping the puke from his mouth, leaves the puke covered and slightly broken and bruised biker on the floor as he steps out the bar. Sorry about that. He looks over at the barkeep and walks out.
Add a point of infamy into the merits section of your sheet. Infamy bikers, specifically the Hell's Angels.
No. Fuck. What?
Next time I'm just going to do a product review instead of turning it over to Arshis because he's going to build up a list of places he can go if we turn him loose.
Oh. Sorry,
Well, I'm about. So Alex is now in a gang war against the Hell's Angels. Sure.
Well, you're not in a gang war, but you're definitely not very well liked.
I feel that was an understatement to start with, though.
Uh,
I've just barely
especially
met
since-
Alex, and I understand he doesn't get along well.
Oh.
Especially since he's about to get on his motorbike. Because Alex is a biker himself.
Alright. As you were saying, Kyle.
Yeah, so are you guys all coming back together?
Yeah. If not, I would. If nothing was declared at least around midday the next day, I would send a text, hey, come over at my place so we can compare notes.
Yeah. Stupid decision that's sponsored by Relentless.
Relentless. The energy drink for everyone of questionable moral.
And in the link
I
below,
know- I
you
know-
can get this shirt, the Shooting Dice shirt, from my store. If you buy something, it supports our channel, and, well, we don't have much of a budget, so everything helps.
And buy enough of these shirts, and Alex may not do something stupid.
Oh no, we'll just get you a better camera so we can see you when you do something stupid. Let's
I
not
appreciate that.
let's not lie about this. Alex is going to do something stupid. I've seen
know
too
what
many
you mean.
players who think, "Oh, I'm going to quit being stupid," and then they go and unleash utter hell.
I think Kyle feels a little bit ganged up upon with that comment.
No,
I never said which player.
I don't feel ganged up on that one. I feel like as if that accurately describes me as a player.
You created a dark demigod. Yeah, I blew up Kenny Garris. I got to blow up, the prophet in Titan's grave. You created a dark god. We all have our little, mantles in game. You know.
And then there's in previous campaign me and Carl win, there was Takayoshi.
You do not go full Sasuke. Go
Yes,
full
yes, I do. No, Sasuke was looking at Takayoshi and going, "What the fuck?"
Yeah,
Guys, I'm
So-
going to have to refill my meat if this conversation keeps up. So,
All right.
All right. So you all come together at Nick's place. Nick, what does your place look like?
Well, it's on the third story of a small apartment building. It has 2 bedrooms, one of which is my own bedroom, and the other one which I've recently, in the last 6 years, been slowly creating it as my ritual room slash altar room for my correct rituals and prayers and such. It's got a huge symbol in the middle for literally in dried blood, and a lot of the symbolic effigies of Lilith. But yeah, it's a very small place. It's not ridiculously crowded, but it is very close to the university campus, which serves me well for mealtime.
Which, yes, he does have proper rights for feeding. I just want to bring that up to everybody because I'm going to get questions of that some point in time in the comments. If ever we had commenters.
hey, if they're like me, then they don't understand the rules enough to know that you have to buy, hunting license for the university. It would not have occurred to me.
I'll probably when they get up, I'll be like, "Hey, make yourselves comfortable," and I'll be probably in the ritual room for a little bit before I go out and talk to them.
Okay. This is where
Yeah.
everybody starts talking.
Yeah, I'll once I come out, I'll say, "Okay, so we have some stuff to. I don't know about you guys, but I've been talking to my sire, who's
All right, for some.
yeah. Remember the for lack of a better term, chick that we dug out of the graveyard? Well, my sire is her sister, and she gave a little bit of a warning, I guess. And
What
to
kind
better
of warning?
understand that, literally what she said was, the fires of indulgence is coming. And to that, my sire's eyes went wide. Not a good sign from her.
Ah,
So,
Question.
yeah.
question: do I get to fight any of them?
The fire or the sire?
Like,
I would recommend not going against
I-
my sire, because then
I-
there's a chance.
I mean,
you-
personally, I want ringside seats, either one. I just want to know which, where to put my bets.
Okay, we're getting so off topic.
There was a topic?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
All right. The thing is this. There's a guy in the city of Chicago who might know a way where we can get some clarification about these prophecies.
And I get to fight him.
No. Unless you
Who
want to
the fuck
die.
do I? who the fuck do I get to fight then? I just that fucking bike again. That fucking bike was a pussy. Went out with one punch.
Anyways, in the inner city, we can find him to see if we can get some clarification. On another part, there's also a kid down there that I need to converse with. I look directly at Alex. When we talk to this guy, he's probably gonna say, "Oh yeah, the fire means there's gonna be a huge freaking war, and then you can beat up anybody you want." That sound okay with you?
What kind of weirdo it is in Nosferatu lives underground? I mean, we have to live underground.
I don't know. I don't live underground. How should I know?
I met a few back in England, especially this one chick, and he goes.
And this point, I'm just ignoring him. But yeah,
Yeah, me
that's
too.
the idea. Going to the inner city, finding this other Maxwell, to see if he can help us find something called a relic.
And we get to murder this Maxwell as.
No, he's actually in charge down there, so that's probably not a good idea.
You'd be kind of getting fisticuffs with the prince, right?
Ah, shit.
And even if you win, then you got to be the guy in charge, and that's just a lot of work.
Like Alex thinks about this, we can charge.
But if you're in charge, you can't go out and get into bar fights because you got to hold court. Unless, of course, your court is a boxing ring.
So, you guys in?
Yeah, sure.
All right then. Hold on, just a second. Is it common lore how to get to the inner city, or who you have to talk to get to the inner city?
There are ways to get into the Undercity. Because of how Chicago is situated. Yes, exactly.
I mean, Nosferatu, Undercity. There's literally a whole community of us down there.
Oh, okay. Well, he doesn't know. I spend my time cutting off veins and performing rituals to see into the future. Or attempt.
And Alex's time is spent finding people or fighting and fucking them.
Alright.
Or doing both at the same time.
Yes.
Some of the Nosferatu might be into that.
You know how to get us in the Undercity, right?
Yes.
Oh, sweet. I thought I'd have to go and find some other way.
I mean, you can do it the hard way, and I'll be waiting for you down there. I don't want to deprive you of the privilege of learning something new.
Well, as much as I would want to, urgency requires me to take a little bit more expedient route. And that would be you guiding us down there. As much as I would like to take the more longer route, there's just little time.
Well, we going or what?
I'm like, okay. Shall we?
Yeah.
Alright. So. Let me just grab here. Because we're going into something that I haven't fully researched in regards to vampire lore. When it comes to the Nosferatu, because I myself didn't play them very often. But I can quickly grab the name of this.
So for Vitae, we're at the same amount that we had the other night, right?
When it comes to actually needing it for a dramatic roll, I'll have you guys roll a d10 beforehand, and then on top of the fact that I've had you all fed, I'll add in a couple more dots to that.
Right.
But right now, count yourselves as like not really needing to deal with hunger.
All right.
The beast that haunts the blood. Yes, there we go. Now, Andy, you know the entrance to the necropoli, and you know exactly how to get there. You take the other two forward to it. But as you come up to the entranceway, a very skeletal looking um, woman is standing out in front of the entranceway. You know her as Doll, and she just as the three of you are coming up, she looks between the three of you, but only addresses yourself, Ragtag, and goes, "So what's your business here at the necropoli?"
Oh, thought I'd see the sights, show the tourists around, talk to Maxwell.
Maxwell is not exactly here. You can find him down uh, in the old subway that's been disused. He tends to hang out there even now with his court. But if you're coming here, then I take it that you need information. But you just bringing in the interlopers?
Well, they need information.
And are you vouching for them as a brother worm?
I basically turned to Alex and like, no fighting.
I think you should look at Alex looks down. Oh.
I need you to say the words.
All right. I will not throw the first punch, but if anyone throws one at me, I will knock them on their asses.
I turn back to Doll, just give like, you see, we're all good.
Yes. And the other?
Oh, he's not a fighter anyway.
Do I look like I could deck someone?
No, but you look like you could do some damage in other ways. And after all, you're not one of the brothers or one of the sisters.
There will be no damage.
If anybody
of any
starts
sort.
anything, I will be the first one to deal with them.
All right.
Alex quirks an eyebrow at that comment.
She steps aside.
I whisper over to Alex, and I thought my cats were shady.
We have ears,
Yeah, and she stares at you.
I'm not whispering it.
She stares at
Alex chuckles.
Arthur. She stares at you with that, and you can swear that her eyes, while looking human not so long ago, are now looking very reptilian as she just looks you up and down.
I'm not very well connected to them if you're hungry. Like, I'm literally just here as part of a job.
Alex fist slowly closes.
You can all go inside, but Brother Worm, if they do start trouble, you know what might happen.
Yep, lunch. And I walk on in.
Wow, I forgot how many freaking things are just built around Necropoli. It's like, oh yeah, Necropolis, and then
Yeah.
it goes channels, and then it goes all the way over to like several sets of other things, and I'm like, dear lord. So yeah, you enter. Wow. She steps aside and opens the door, and the first thing that all three of you note as you enter in, this isn't so much of a shock to you, but to the other two it might be, is the smell of decaying congealed blood and the last remnants of whatever animal has been brought in over the course of possibly even decades.
Oh, fuck me. If I hadn't thrown up over that biker, I might be throwing up again.
Trust me, you after the biker didn't smell much better.
Okay.
All right.
And this is also one of the reasons why Ragtag wears rags. He's got his nose filtered.
Now, you know personally, Ragtag, sometimes the Undercity Prince Maxwell does come in here to collect a tithing from the rest of the Nosferatu for their placement within the Undercity. Being that while they do naturally control things underground most of the time, he is the prince of the Undercity and acknowledged as such and given respect in that way. But you know that the head of the Undercity is a um, is a Nosferatu by the name of Vincent, who goes by the nickname Vinny. And Vinny tends to stay in a very large pool of congealed blood that he treats like a hot tub. And it's located all the way at the back. Arthur and Alex, as you're being led by Ragtag through the necropoli, you notice that it in and of itself works very much like an open air market. There's rats being traded, there's people going in and out of areas like as if they're coffee shops. There seems to be several small stalls that are set up dealing with curios and items, but everyone takes a moment to stop and stare at you as you come through. Alex, you can't feel a single beast inside of this room, but every so often people kind of stop and stare at you and give a very bestial smile that is a bit unnerving. While only a few times, a few others just sort of scurry away into the deeper darkness of this place.
I'm just going to stop
Alex
by
is not
somewhere and get a
phased.
cup of blood.
Alex is not phased by this. He's used to people staring at him.
They don't look even remotely human a lot of the time. You're looking at people who go range from their entire body is in disfigurements that range from the horribly grotesque to looking at them, it's like as if you're looking at it's directly into the uncanny valley, and it's like as if you're staring at some CGI creation that shouldn't exist but does.
Alex is trying not to look phased, but he's slightly unnerved. But he's trying to go. Nope, I'm all good. I'm. You do not freak me out in the slightest.
As you come closer to the baths, the various levels of clothing of these, for lack of a better word, creatures, starts to become less and less until you're in an area that is rank with the smell of congealed blood and decay. And several pools seem to be dug into concrete, filled in with this material that's just a dark sludge, with more than a couple bathing in it every so often. And at the very back is a very humongously grotesque figure that seems bulbous to the point of being ludicrous as he floats in a giant pool of black congealed blood, every so often his hand dipping into it and pulling it out and sloshing it into his mouth.
Aunt Stacy,
Ragtag, you know this is Vinny. As you bring the group closer, Vinny's eyes hover on you, Ragtag, and they're the eyes of a shark, black and black, that covers up the full of the eye opening, and his bulbous jowls jiggle as he laughs. Ragtag, brother worm. Nice to see you home once again. Who are the guests that you bring to our humble abode?
I'm just waiting for you to give an answer to Arthur's question, because
Yes, you can do dream visions, Arthur.
All right.
let's see. That's Alex.
Spamming the crap out of that, but
Yeah, I'm like, that's Alex. He's mostly muscle. Don't worry about him. Arthur has questions he needs answered.
nope, not even close.
Is it bad that I already know that Alex probably doesn't care about 90% of the situation? He's just looking for his next chance to get into a fight. It's like, yeah, there's a problem going on, but who do I get to fight along the way?
Pretty much.
Now, Arthur, was it? You have questions, but what are you gonna be giving me for the answers?
Can't say I have much to offer. I guess you could name your price after you hear what I am looking for.
That's quite generous of you. He leans back and he rolls his chubby hands in front of himself. The wax and fat underneath just continuing to move even after he stops the motion for you to continue on.
Keep rolling, 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 rolling.
This man's bingo wings even have bingo wings.
Like Alex is missing. Alex is now missing chicken KFC.
Do I know what Vinny usually charges for this kind of information, or is this going to be something that's just so far beyond that I don't even know how to start negotiations?
You get the feeling that as Arthur finished that sentence, the ability for you to negotiate on his behalf is kind of gone.
I mean, I still know what's a reasonable thing to ask, because I can just step up and say, look, he can't pay that. You know, there is a certain level of stupid where, you know, it's like, okay, you can't reasonably expect him to go out and fetch you daylight in a jar. That's, you know, I'll at least know where to begin to say, okay, that's unreasonable and we both know it.
You know that information doesn't come cheap. And Vinny is a man who tends to need continual amounts of information coming in because of the fact that it helps keep the necropoli going.
Okay.
But it really depends on how he's feeling that day, whether or not he makes it something steep, or whether or not he feels that it's going to be something big. But you do know. Give me a quick social roll, an intelligence plus socialize roll.
Okay, let me double check my socialize. That one I definitely have none in. So let me just get my intelligence.
It's going to be at a -1 penalty, so it's your intelligence -1.
Okay.
I imagine he's gonna ask me like,
Yeah.
give me the map to El Dorado or something.
We're in trouble.
You get a faint scratching at the back of your mind, but nothing really comes to your head when it comes to anybody who might be able to pull some social strings in case you feel that Vinny's being a bit overly zealous with his prices.
All right. Well, at least I'll have some idea of where I can jump in to try to mitigate the damage.
I probably gave you a bit too big of a hit on that, but yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm an information broker. He wants information. That means that I've got the right currency. So
Yeah.
okay. In that case, I will let them continue from there.
So yeah, Arthur, what is your question?
We need to find Maxwell.
Maxwell,
Um,
mind. Hell, if that was your question, you can just kiss my finger.
Yeah, Dahl told us where to find him at the start of all this.
alrighty then.
I led you in here because I thought you had a second question.
I actually kind of do. You know whereabouts Pope was crucified? Or is crucified?
I don't tend to mess with wherever Solomon puts his little menagerie. But if he's going to be anywhere, he's going to be stuck in the middle of a church.
Which church?
Yeah, that's awfully vague.
Solomon's an old style man who likes to speak of doom and destruction. And plus the fact that he used to be, or at least by rumor, a former Baptist minister. I'd be checking out in one of the abandoned Baptist churches.
All right, my real world geography isn't great, but I'm assuming there's several of them in Chicago.
Oh yeah, there's several.
Okay.
Or you could just ask the members of the Lance themselves in the congregation. I mean, hell, it's been noted that he does keep them on display for all of his sermons.
Yeah, that is probably not going to be something I want to be doing. An acolyte poking his heads among lances is probably not the best.
Those are quite simple questions. Did you have anything more pressing to ask me?
Alex,
I'm looking for
Axel-
someone besides Maxwell. I'm a cat by the name of Samson. Percival Samson.
Percy.
No.
Oh,
You know whereabouts I can find him?
that little shit. He's running around in the deeper tunnels.
What can you tell me about him?
Annoying little shit. I'm in a bit of a thorn in everybody's side. Yeah. If you can find that jackass, tell him that I need my gold back. He's got several little trinkets of mine.
A thief, then?
No. Just writes checks his mouth can't fucking promise on. So, Maxwell will definitely have more information on him. He tends to keep a tight, close look on everyone who lives in his city. I'm not talking about Clark here, I'm talking about Sprayle. And Clark does keep a close eye on everybody, but he doesn't like coming down here as much as our dear under Rat King does. He actually says that with a bit of fondness, from what you can tell, when he calls the Undercity Maxwell the Rat King. Like, it's to most it would be seen as a derogatory, but he says it like as if Maxwell himself sees that as a nickname that's worthy of praise.
Right. Alrighty then. Shall I take trying to, I wouldn't say extort, but convince Percy to pay his fines as payment?
Oh no, you're gonna be shoveling shit out of our trash pit for the next week. Anything that comes
Alex,
up in any remotely bit of good, you're gonna be bringing up to me. But yeah, just for that information, it's gonna be a week of shit shoveling.
Alex has been watching this this whole thing, and it's thinking about something. He see this guy seems to be pretty clued in, and he's got a question of his own. Oi, you seem pretty clued in. You heard of a vampire called Vanessa Valentina?
Who's asking?
Name's Alex. Alex Trest.
Oh, Alex Trest. I don't take martinis shaken or stirred, but you can sure as shit get me one if you're gonna treat me like that. Possibly with a little cocktail weenie on it as well.
Alex smirks. Maybe I should have phrased the question better. I'm looking for my sire.
Saying if I have, what is this information worth to you?
He looks at Ragtag like, like Alex is not the smartest, but he doesn't want to write a blank check. Well, Ragtag, what do you think?
Oh, you just had to go and drag me into it because
How about information for information?
that's honestly what I was
This-
going to suggest. Like, well,
Yeah,
he's just looking for a relatively high-profile person. Surely that is common knowledge to yourself. He can just bring you something that is equally valuable.
Well, he's looking for money. All right. I want, from my own side, on giving you this information, and only once I've gotten it will I give you the information that you seek. I want the real name of Filthfoot.
so, any limits on how I get it?
Well, I'm not expecting you to go and break dear Clark's laws or get on the bad side of Maxwell down here. But I don't rightly care how you get it, just so long as you get it to me.
Sounds like a plan. So no killing, but anything else, as long as they don't break the laws, we're all good. Alex smirks.
Long shot, but is this something that Ragtag would have?
No.
Okay.
Filthfoot,
Uh,
in and of himself, is kind of a wild card, even in Nosferatu society. He's
uh,
like a ghost.
but as Alex smirks, you see quite a sadistic. It's almost like quite a sadistic grin.
Second question. Noticing that grin, based on what little I do know of Filthfoot, would I go toe to toe with him? Because he's older than us, I assume.
He's much older than you guys.
So, just going off the age equals strength sort of, scale, I assume that I'm gonna be picking up the pieces of Alex when this is over.
You might be, if there's any pieces to be picked up.
Either way, it's gonna be an entertaining show, and
Alex is like a green twig.
that information, the play-by-play will be worth something to somebody. So I'm gonna be around for that. So, yeah.
All right. So, with that information in hand, Vinny just looks around dismissively now, kind of giving Ragtag and only Ragtag a nod of dismissal. While three skeletal women dressed in nothing come walking in at his next wave of his hand and sit in the pool with him.
I just give him back, nod of appreciation, and I turn and leave.
Though my nervous system isn't capable of it, Arthur, as he walks out.
So, as you all walk out of the necropolis, Dollface greets you as you exit, and then she looks at Ragtag and goes, "You got everything that they wanted?"
Oh, not even close, but at least they're pointed in the right direction.
Good. Don't be bringing them back here anytime soon.
The whole point of having, an illustrious underground Vegas-like city is for tourism.
For family. For family, Ragtag. It is a necropolis for family.
And they could be family if you're willing to just open up that definition a little bit. I mean, we're all sort of, cousins to one another, and I didn't like most of my cousins before.
Possibly for the maquette, but the pretty boy.
Well, that's a problem. I got a job to do. Gonna do it. I have to get back here.
Just
Once that job's
walking.
done, you can come back.
Fine by me.
Okay.
Alex is not blinking as he talks. Well,
I'm just
Just a basic Nosferatu, biology. We don't blink that often either.
Yeah, her eyes seem to shift between being human one moment and reptilian the next.
Alex is not phased by this. I think it's a combination of courage and stupidity with him, but he doesn't get scared by much.
I will just
Alright,
say,
come
look,
in.
they do owe some debts here, so they will have to return in order to pay those debts.
Okay.
And then I will just continue to walk on. Because as I mentioned, I don't get along with many of my cousins anyway.
Yeah, Alex gives her a wink and walks off.
Oh, I never stopped her. I just gave her like a backwards look and kept on walking.
Yep. That's just pretty much. She seems unfazed by either one of those actions.
And I could care less about someone I'd rather interact. Alright. To the old subway station. Find Maxwell. Before I end up making deals with other people for information.
The way to the old subway stations is quite easy for Ragtag to drag you across through to. And once you get there, it's in and of itself looks to be built in an Art Nouveau styling, especially the 1930s and 40s. There's wood paneling everywhere, mixed in with the former American industrial might of catwalks made out of iron girders that are crisscrossed together, forming bridges over an old, almost Victorian-esque railway system. You can hear from what potentially could have been the first class area of the station the sounds of the Ride of the Valkyrie as a long, gaunt man in a moth-eaten suit walks back and forth um, in the room, going from book to book, reading every single one, and then stopping every so often as if in contemplation and thought. Ragtag, you know this as the Rat King, Max Spiegel. He is. Whenever you've actually heard of him, people will either fondly call him the Rat King or the Austrian. He is a tall man of German descent in full and is very proud of that fact and is Ventru to the core. As you all come up into the first class area, a small woman with long blonde hair and small rimless square glasses stops you and goes, "May I ask who is coming to speak with Herr Maxwell?"
I just sort of motion for Arthur to take the lead here.
My name's Arthur. I come by the will of Ashley, tender of the circle. We come here seeking information and a word with Maxwell.
She nods lightly and looks between the three of you once more before focusing in on Alex. And your name, sir?
Alex dressed.
Alex, you can tell that this woman has a North London accent.
Alex smokes. Pleasure to meet you.
She looks you over very slowly and then goes, "And your business here is?"
Well, I'm just here to tag along. Keep these two safe if I have to. Also, keep my eye out for anyone pretty. Gives her a wink.
She looks between the three of you and goes, "I will introduce you to our Maxwell." She looks at Arthur. "Remember that in this court, as well as in any other court, you do not speak unless spoken to by the praxis."
Of course.
With that, she then walks over very stealthily, without making any sound from her footwear at all, to Maxwell, and whispers in his ear before he turns round and motions for the three of you to step forward and into his what at one time would have been an opulent sitting room for the rich, which is now his office. My Keeper of Elysium informs me that you wish to speak with me.
I give him a slight nod in agreement.
What is it that you bring both in tribute to coming into my lands and wish to speak with me for?
I come as a errand boy of sorts, from Ashley, the tender of the cult of Lilith. Recently, we have acquired a prophecy from her sister, a augur of high caliber, as I'm pretty sure you know.
Yes, I know the Harrowspecks and her sister quite well.
Yes. She, while we rescued her from the clutches of Solomon during an outing, she spoke of a prophecy, one to which my own sire showed great concern for. And she has tasked us to help complete it. As part of this, she spoke of her sister's reliquary to help complete the understanding of her prophecy, as it was very difficult to ascertain what it specified to.
Oh, as far as I was aware, Ashley and Mary were not libertines, but were dreamers. So a reliquary is not necessarily something that I would think them able to make themselves. And if you are here looking for a reliquary, that would mean that you are looking for someone in particular. May I ask who that person is?
I was told of a certain maquette by the name of Percival Sampson.
Ah, Percival. Yes, he wanders these tunnels looking for his old power, as he likes to say, though. Knowing him as long as I have, I don't think that that will amount to much. As payment for the information I'm about to give to you, can you take up to Air Clarkson a message for me? It is a letter in that third book on the left. It is something he'll find of great value. Don't look at it yourself. I will know that if you do.
Of course. I from my time as a circa 5-year-old kindred, would I know who Clarkson is?
Maxwell Clarkson, Praxis of the Upper City.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Of course.
Yes. It will be interesting to reopen conversations and continue things with him once more. So, you can find Percival in his studies. He tends to keep within the northeast tunnel of the old subway station. He tends to get there by way of a maintenance exit from the L, as you all would call it. Um, the elevated train that goes around this entire blessed city, hallowed be Chicago. And he has several reliquaries that, if you've come up to me to ask for his information, would be of quite useful need for somebody else in the city. He looks at Ragtag. But yes, he's easy to find there most nights, especially on a Thursday. On every other night, on every Tuesday, he feeds down at the Discarded Image. On Fridays, he rummages through my city, looking for the remnants of his power, as he likes to state, but I do not believe that it will be here or anywhere. But if what he says is true, and if Ashley has such faith that he has done something as this, he can easily be found there. Ragtag, it is very good to see you once again.
I'll just nod.
And with that, he goes, I leave you to explore the wonders of my Undercity. And please do perform that task of which I have asked, because I would like to see you once again here, and I do not wish to be disappointed, nor do I wish to see you disappointed in your endeavors.
Cheers.
Probably a long shot, but during that last moment, am I able to do dream visions on him?
Yes, you can.
Probably not gonna work again, but sure, why not? I
You get
spoke
two
too soon.
Type me those two questions out. They must be able to be answered in a yes or no, and only in a yes or no.
All right.
And they don't actually have to be related to that character. They can be just straight up yes or no questions. That's kind of how
Yeah.
Dream works.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I did it right now.
Now, when he said that the
He
letter,
did give me the book, right, with the letter and everything to give to.
Yeah.
As well,
No,
right?
you pick that up. You pick that up yourself. You pick up the letter. He does not give you the book. He just has you pick up the letter.
yeah, my question was, did he indicate, which side? Because he just said the third book on the left. Was that his left, our left? Because if he doesn't say, I will ask this question to him.
He doesn't indicate, but it is noted that it is the only book with a letter in it.
Well, I don't know if it's like sticking out or if it's.
I will do a perception check to see if I can
I
find
assumed
that
this
book.
was like a bunch of bookshelves, and that this was literally just going to be one book that we had to take out, and then the letter was inside.
That's much better than what I had planned. Let's go with the perception check to find.
I was like, this is easy. Let's just cut through all this weeds
And watch
make
this
this
fail,
alive.
and then I get to ask my question.
Was that was wits and something?
Wits and let me just double check here, because it's wits and composure for perception checks.
Oh, that's actually what I'm good at. I'm not making this roll. I would rather be the one to ask the stupid question.
Yeah, it's quite easy to find. It is very easy to find this.
It's funny enough, Alex is not bad at this.
You find it. It's located in the third. It's located on the third book on a plinth on the far side, and as you pick it up, you notice that the book that it is sitting in is a book filled with chess maneuvers.
I suspected as soon as you said letter that they were just playing chess by mail.
I look at the book. I'm like, huh, this is actually very interesting, and I just pocket it, and I will give him a very slight bow as we leave. Alright, I sent you the 2 questions for Drew. But as soon as I get the book, I look at it very interested. I give the slight bow and exit to make sure I don't stay too long. Probably not a good thing to annoy the Rat King. Alright, that is very interesting.
You know, if you're trying not to annoy people, you brought the wrong 2 people with you.
Personally, I imagine that you're not gonna try to piss off the guy who's giving you lodging, essentially.
I have my own haven, but I do acknowledge that, you know, as long as he's treating me with respect, I got no problem with him.
Right.
It's the rest of the world that I will be smart ass to.
Alex is trying to keep his mouth shut.
And I think that's the smartest thing he's done in a while, honestly. Because I'm pretty sure hitting on the keeper of the, what is it, Alarium?
Elysium.
Elysium. Yeah, hitting on the keeper was probably not a bright idea.
Yeah. Like I said, like I've said in and out of character, Alex is not the smartest guy around.
Oh no, I expected it. It just, Ragtag was like, yeah, I'm just going to take a step away from him now.
Yeah, I have already left.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Seeing as how I am the tour guide to the underground, if we were going to go look for the other guy tonight, then I will lead the way as I know it.
I actually think it might be. First of all, what day of the week is it?
It is currently Thursday.
Okay, so we can find him in the tunnel. Regardless, I would like to deliver the letter to Maxwell as soon as possible. So if there are still hours of the moon left, I would urge us to do that first.
As we're walking, Alex starts singing the theme song to the Wombles.
Wow.
I don't know about you guys.
Okay, so yeah, wherever Arthur thinks we need to go, I will go there.
All right.
Because I don't want to tell Alex where to find Filthfoot until I can make sure I'm there to watch that.
Yeah. The next time that we have to present Alex to the court of Chicago, essentially, you said it was a month from the first session, right?
Yes.
Or 2.
If Alex survives.
Yeah, that
Okay.
problem might resolve itself, but yes, I do agree that, you know, the first opportunity to drop off the letter would be best. But
okay, so to make sure I'm following the code of conduct of the kindred in Chicago, can't believe I'm saying this, but does one simply go to Maxwell's palace? You said.
What does not simply go to Maxwell's palace?
That's
One
what
can show up at the shed, and Maxwell may or may not be there, depending upon this one single thing. Evens or odds, gentlemen?
always odds.
we
Never
are
tell
an
me
odd
the
group,
odds.
so bet on the odds.
Well, technically we
Never-
are an odd group because we're 3.
I don't care how many of us there are. We're an odd group.
Kyle.
You come to deliver the message, but all that is there is Persephone. She looks between the three of you slowly. I take it you wish to have spoken with my father?
I was here to see the otters.
They do, maybe.
I like raise a hand to like shut up.
What? They float on their back, they use tools. How much more adorable can you get?
We are here to deliver a message to him personally from the Rat King himself.
I can take it to him for you, and you can consider the job complete. Did you guys get that?
I would like to roll the equivalent of an insight check on Persephone.
I
don't know
would
exactly
very
what
much
that
like
would
to.
be, but
I'm actually just going to step forward. It's like no offenses intended, but due to his wording and the fact that I live underground, we must follow the letter of the word, not the spirit of it in this case.
Deliver the letter to the letter.
She nods very slowly. Okay. At which point she calls. She picks up her phone and she calls out to somebody and goes, "You're needed." Apparently, the other Maxwell has a letter for you and has sent it up with 3. She looks between you all. Members of the city.
I was going to go with vagrants, but I like her term a little bit better.
Alex is tempted to make a comment on the term word member.
As soon as she hangs up, I give her a nod like, think.
She motions you all back towards the parlor. Back towards the entranceway to the shed. But she does make a roundabout way for the otters.
Appreciated.
I would still like to make that insight check or that equivalent.
Wits plus empathy.
Alright. That would be. Hey! Not too sucky. Well, at least a number of die.
Yeah, we've all noticed it doesn't matter how, what the numbers are, it's what the dice says.
Oh, yeah. In
This
any game in the
brutal.
world.
One success.
Yes. No.
You get nothing off of her.
I figured as much. Worth a shot.
It's almost like as if you had a better way of getting that information, but it seems to have eluded you.
Alex is just eyeing booty. Alex is walking behind eyeing booty.
I realized what you hinted at right then. Damn.
After about 5 minutes of waiting in the parlor, Maxwell himself enters in. And he is a tall, broad-shouldered man with a length of long, just ebon black hair that falls down the back of his neck in a long ponytail. His raven black skin, just a slight pale color as he comes in and looks between you three. He goes, "I have been summoned away from my poker night. This better be good."
Greetings, Prince. We have been sent in part by the Rat King himself
Yes,
to
the other Maxwell.
give you this, and I extend the book towards him.
The letter. He would not let you take the book. He just let you take the letter.
Oh, okay, the letter. I wasn't sure which of the two take. He gives him the letter.
He opens up the letter, and he looks it over, and he gives a slight chuckle. And he goes, huh, Fisher's opening. This will be an interesting match. But still, you could have just left it with my daughter, and I would have been just as grateful for this. And I would have been
As
able to explain to Maxwell better for the reasons why it came through a lesser roundabout way.
our apologies for interrupting you, but as I explained to your daughter, we were given specific instructions, and not knowing the contents of the letter, we had to assume the worst case scenario would befall us if we deviated.
No, that is quite understandable. And
As much as
given Air Maxwell's own ways of being, do keep in mind that while he is a praxis like myself, he is not above dicking with the underlings.
Yeah, I get that
I
no matter
assume
where
that
I
was a
go.
possibility.
Alex smirks.
It just seems to
It
be
is nice to know that his
is a perk of being the one in charge.
Yes, it is one that he and I both thoroughly enjoy.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you get another thing like this, it's going to be quite interesting. I did, however, plan for this. And he pulls out a letter from his own pocket and hands it over to you and goes, the next time that you see Air Maxwell, could you give him this for me?
I'm going to turn to
you
Arthur
see,
and say, he said the next time you see him. He didn't say rush straight there. He didn't say at your earliest convenience.
you see, anybody who looks at Arthur can see like his pride is like being squashed slowly. He's like,
I'm just going to snatch the letter from Arthur because
I'm putting it away, but you see like his pride is slowly shrinking, and he's a little bit pissed by it.
you are
He doesn't
delivering.
express it too much, but
You're literally delivering the
it.
chess by mail moves.
Alex gives Arthur a firm pat on the back. Come on, mate. Let's get out. Let's get out of here.
I'm raising my rates and I'll walk away.
And with that, we close out the evening. With
fucking
this
reduce to a
prologue,
letter boy.
with this prologue, as you walk away with Maxwell's letter, he looks down to the letter that you gave him once again, and then looks to his daughter and says, "You're sure that they didn't open this?" And she nods. Before he goes, call the call the Order Dracul and the Circle together. We need to start discussions on the issues with the with the matron once again. And there we go.
See, Arthur doesn't know it, but apparently, yes, he is delivering vital information. But you think you're just a mail carrier,
doesn't
and
matter,
that amuses
'cause
me.
If Arthur wasn't greedy as his like prime vice, it would be pride straight afterwards. There's like 2 inches between those two.
And Ragtag
believe
just
I-
remembering the Fisher opening because maybe somebody cares about the chess match between those two.
I believe my character food his virtue, which is courage. To be honest, like his I'm unfortunately stupidity is not a vice, or it would probably be that.
I feel stupidity is a vice.
No, stupidity is like a flaw, not a vice.
I know people who indulge in it.
Well, that's their choice.
Alex tries not to be
That-
stupid, but he kind of help it.
that last part about the matron and about the Urgical and the circle, who was able to hear that, or was that just?
That was as soon as all of you were out of earshot, even augmented earshot.
That was for the players and the audience only, not the characters. That's the same way I use prologues. It's
I hate you so much, Kyle. You suffer every time we end. Jeez.
you know
And he does it on purpose.
Cal, I have not gotten that reaction as the DM. I need to
Okay.
step up my game a little bit. Apparently, I mean, I plan on making you guys suffer soon. You've had it easy for a
Well-
little while.
Well, the thing is that Kyle knows that I've read about the circle. Like I've read the book, so he knows if he puts out a name that I'm able to recognize.
Oh yeah,
he
I
already
get
has
that.
my attention.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to string Ragtag along, but fortunately, Ragtag has emotional detachment and a lot of composure. He can literally sit there and hear all this without flipping out.
During that exchange with Maxwell, did he ever gaze upon Alex at all, or was he just ignoring the freshly green pea?
No, he did look. Which one are you talking about? Is that
No, the prince.
which prince, Maxwell?
The upper, the upper
No,
city, Maxwell.
Persephone-
Should we have done an introduction just then? I think
No.
was the question.
No. I think the only one who really should have would be Alex. But no, you two wouldn't need any sort of introduction because he will know you guys quite personally, even though you probably don't really know him. He will know almost everything about you.
Well, now that's
Alex
just
told us.
disturbing.
Actually, my question was during that very brief exchange, did his eyes ever float curiously at Alex? As in, who's this fuck?
And
Yeah.
something, a question that's been asked about him many, many times.
I know Ragtag does.
That's what happens when you're embraced very,
He
very.
did look at Alex with quite an annoyed look on his face.
Oh.
I assume that the
Oh.
time to make introductions
I'm
is
a-
during court, following proper procedures, not when you're
Although
just.
I think that's like the default reaction to anybody who sees Alex. I'm guessing.
That is also true. I look at him with annoyance.
There's three things that happen when you look at Alex: curiosity, annoyance, or lust.
I am definitely number 2 all the time.
Mine's
Although
number
there's
one.
curiosity,
Like, constantly number one.
like I said,
It's
there's
like
going to be
baseline.
curiosity, like how is this going to turn out? Because I'm going to sell the results of this to someone.
No.
Like when he goes to beat up, Phil's foot for his name, I'm just going to be there taking notes the whole time. Like, okay, then he ripped off his arm and he beat him with it. Then he somehow reattached the arm and beat him with his leg without detaching the leg. Okay, I think we better go ahead and officially call it here because we're going to keep talking. So let me end the stream here. Thank you, Kyle, for running a game where at least one person is, as usual, freaking out. I can say that is the goal of all of us who run games is to freak at least one of our players out. We'll be back in 1 week for the Expendable Crew, where Kyle will try to set the world on fire and tell everybody it's for their own good.
I can't disagree with this.
So looking forward to that. Hope to see you then, and farewell, everyone.